Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Thanos Build-A-Figure wave of Marvel Legends NIGHTHAWK, also known as the perfect example of why people don't like Hasbro Marvel Legends and also is a giant piece of shit. This figure is such a turd, it makes me physically angry. The only thing they did well is the cape. And now you have no reason to watch the rest of the review, but I encourage you to do so because I might say something funny about how bad it is. I don't know. It's very irritating and I might just rant the whole time. It's hard to say, but I might. So stick around, I guess. This guy stands just about 16 centimeters, which makes him pretty close to 6 1/4 inches, closer to 6 3/8, I guess. And it is an ugly bunch of turds. It's not good. It's so bad, and they didn't have to even do very much. How do they screw up these simplest of designs? They didn't have to do anything but paint something on his chest, essentially, and they still screwed it up. You would think the cape would be the hard part. They can't make normal capes work in almost any figure they release, yet this cape, they nail. It's basically perfect. What? How? Who is over there in Hasbro land just making these decisions that mean they can't make a normal cape work, like the most basic of capes, yet this one that poofs up 6 feet off of his shoulders, they got that no problem. How? I don't get it. I don't get it. No one does. Alright, on to the rest of the figure's aesthetics. Cape's awesome. The rest of the figure looks like butts. The paint job for the forearms is terrible. It appears to me that they used yellow plastic, which is a good call, but then they used glossy dark blue paint that doesn't match the rest of the figure to paint his arms, and they did it sloppy, because why not? The claws, as far as I've always known him, and then even on their own packaging, his claws are supposed to be silver. They made them like metallic macaroni and cheese, and not claw-like. They look like popsicle sticks sticking out of his hands. They look totally stupid. The paint they used for the logo here is this mix of like baby shit and macaroni and cheese, and it's totally not uniform. What's the word for not a uniform? That's not right. Ununiform? Disuniform? I don't know. But it's gross. It's almost brown up here because it's transparent enough that the blue can come through. Then there's like glops. It looks like the dried cheese powder from macaroni and cheese that didn't get mixed in. There's just glops of darker, brighter, more saturated orange, whatever, you get what I'm saying. I'm fumbling my words because I'm violently irritated by this figure. There's almost no paint on it. How do they screw that up? Let's see if they continued it. Oh, that's right, we can't lean it back anymore. Anyway, let's move on to the head, because the head's a good thing to talk about. The head on this guy is, if not an exact reuse of Bucky Cap without the ear things back here and putting them up here, they might have tweaked it just a tiny bit, but it looks damn close to Bucky Cap, like the original head. Mine's buried in my pile of 800 Marvel Legends figures, so I didn't bother to find it just to compare it to this, but it's not even good. Like, these things are supposed to stick off of his head, and they don't. And it's everything that they had to do to make this figure actually this character, they screwed up. So aesthetically speaking, yeah, you fall out of my hand, you little bastard. Aesthetically speaking, 3 out of 10. It would be lower, except for the fact that the cape is awesome on its own. So 3 out of 10 for aesthetics. As far as accessories go, you don't get any, because when they make a shitty figure, they give you fewer things to even encourage you to buy it. 0 out of 10. As far as articulation goes, well, it's going to be fairly standard, so it's going to be Bucky Cap. We can lean the head back, we can lean the head forward, side to side's fine. Head sits on the body nicely, no real attitude there. Shoulders work pretty well, not quite horizontal, but pretty far. Full rotation, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, except they somehow made a new forearm that works worse than any other forearm they've ever made. That's not true, but it's pretty goofy. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but the way they designed it, the joint is not the right circumference, not the right diameter, and neither is the arm. So the peg or the hinge circle is back here, whereas the arm circle is over here. So it's fighting itself to work, and on this side it doesn't work at all. I just can't get it to move. It's terrible. And all of that because they wanted to have sculpted gloves on this guy on a mold that is like as old as time, that they've been reusing countless times, and then they decided this time to make new arms and they screwed it up. The wrists have a swivel and a hinge, which is fine. Again, the sculpt on those is goofy. Waist twist is fine. Ab crunch seems to be getting worse and worse every time. It barely goes back at all. It does go forward a little bit, but this one's kind of floppy. It's not terrible, but it is a little bit. Hips going forward are fine. Going back a little bit, side to side's fine. Thigh swivel's fine. Double jointed knees fine. Boot swivel's fine. Ankle hinge goes forward, goes back, and it has an ankle rocker. It's the same stuff we've seen a million times. It all works pretty well, and the figure is still a bag of crap, so the articulation gets a 7 out of 10. But my overall verdict on this guy is 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. I went down from every other rating. I didn't average them at all because he doesn't deserve it. A few things that are good on a figure do not necessarily make the figure equally good. He is not equivalent to the sum of his parts. He is significantly worse than that. Do not buy this figure if you have any choice. It's not worth it unless you just really like the cape like I do, or you buy a whole case and you have to buy him. But they nailed the cape. Like, what? This could have been a sweet figure, like the best looking in the wave, because all they needed was a little bit of shading and a decent paint job. Moderate sculpting ability. Nope. Nope, they said we don't care, they're gonna buy it anyway. Build a figure, baby. Thanos, we can take a dump and put it in a box and people will buy it for Thanos. And that's what they did, essentially right here. It's a giant plastic dump, and I'm done. So thanks for watching, guys. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't like this video, well, you probably work at Hasbro and you suck. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to do so, because I do have new videos up almost every single day and thousands of reviews already on the channel waiting for you. So make sure you check out all that good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.